This is my rat Chevy 53 frame, bench seat and bed. Good view of the fog lamps. Here's the hand crank. That's a stabilizer, front stabilizer bar off a 1950 Suburban. Here's a fuel pump with a hand pump. All been converted to 12 volt. Push button starter. There's a homemade emergency brake. There's the fuel gauge. That's the oil pressure gauge. The temperature gauge. One barrel Rochester carburetor. The glass fuel filter, single wire alternator, this is the business end of the old hand crank. That harmonic balancer is off a 53-216. Chevrolet retained the hand crank spin out from 1927 to 1953. So they didn't change the crankshaft size. They took the hand crank spin out off an older motor and slipped it right on there. That's the ignition switch, basically a battery cutout. Front and rear axles are off a early 55 Chevy. This is a 370 rear end, which is still plenty low enough for first gear, but gets you down the highway nice and slick. That is a early 70s sway bar off a late model Chevy. The original axle, the springs were mounted underneath. On the 55 Chevy, they're mounted on top of the axle. So what I did, I took a 53 torque tube, I cut the axle housing, split it in half, and welded it onto my 55 axle housing. The nice thing about the 55 Chevy, it had the later model Bendix brakes. The gas tank is off a 1950 Chevrolet Suburban. And this is a Barton bumper. That's a 1955 235 Chevy. The short Chevy, the short 235. Let's see how that front sway bar mounts up in there. If you see the swell on this hand crank support, this piece here, I hot punched it. Got it red hot, drove a tapered pin into it to get this 7/8 hole, and then it's got a piece of 3/4 pipe that's set in here hot and silver brazed. Thing of beauty.